So, advice from 40 years of living. I'm 41. I think Jay, you 41, right?
Yeah, I
41?
think so. I stopped
41
counting.
somewhere in there. We're in our 40s though. 40 years of living. Based on your experience, what would you say a person needs to work on individually before thinking about marriage? Like if you was telling me, Mike, you need to work on this before you think about getting married, what do you think individually a person needs to work
You
on?
know, first of all, and I'm only saying this in this order with this logic. Um, Take care of your health first. Yours,
Yes.
yours.
100%.
I don't care.
Yes.
Like when
Yes.
I used to do a thing when I was younger. I sprinted every day just because I could, just full speed every day.
Yeah.
But when you get older, you probably can't do that. A lot of us,
That's a good
you
point.
40, you ain't sprinted in like a
Cause you
decade.
work all the time. When you have
But
kids and
you
work, man,
like
it's
you
hard.
know
Yeah.
look,
I'm
when
not
I was
saying you
younger and
can't
I
do
working
it.
in St.
Yeah.
Vincent, I would just like run in the parking lot just because I
Before
could.
kids, right? Yeah, before
Yeah,
kids,
before,
right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this: uh, walk. You know
Yeah.
what? Take the stairs a little bit. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
do 10, probably do 20, but do 10 push-ups every day. You know what I mean? Get some dumbbells at the house.
Yeah.
Do a couple
Kettlebells,
sit-ups.
yeah.
Stretch. I mean,
Boy, stretching is
I didn't
important,
say
yeah.
get it. You should get a gym membership, but I'm not saying get a gym membership. Just do those things. Take your vitamins.
It's hard to do gym membership with kids because you don't have nowhere for the kids to go. That's the tough part when you got a
Exactly.
family.
You know what I mean?
That's
Life
what's
is about
hard, man.
choices. You got to
Yeah.
try something. A lot of gyms have daycares, but I'm not here. You know, saying that. Just take care of your
Yeah.
health. Do a
Yeah, for
daily
sure.
little fitness regimen. Whether you running place for 30 seconds. Everybody got 30
Yeah.
seconds. Do 30 jumping jacks a day.
Yeah.
40 years old. Like I mean, I'm telling you, do that and definitely
Yeah, you
stretch.
don't get to 600 pounds, just wake up and you 600 pounds. That's a process, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like
Whether
if
they,
you
they
can
try to
touch
make you
your
feel,
toes, if you can touch your toes today, touch your toes every day. Just bend
yeah.
straight over, touch your toes. Make sure Diddy ain't nowhere around, but touch your toes every day. But and somebody told me
That's a good one.
those baby oil bottles were full with liquid ecstasy, but that's just the urban legend.
Hey,
But
hey. Like I told Peel, when does a person choice start? When you walk in the house and you see that, do the
but
choice start then to stay? Or can you
but
just say,
I'm
you
not
know
gonna
what, I think I
talk
left
about this
something in
with
the
you
car?
because
Huh?
you think every victim had a choice in a hand in their
No,
assault.
what I'm
And
saying
that's
is,
just
when do you
definitely not
become a victim, though? When do you become a victim?
true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why you
I'm
laugh
just not
because
talking. I'm just
you
not
have
gonna
to
have
go in the
I'm just
house.
not
You
having
got
a
to go in the
conversation.
house, and then you sit down on the couch. And if you come in there a baby oil, do you have to leave or you got to stay?
Guess what? Manipulation. You can if you
Yeah,
manipulate it into
sure,
a situation or
sure.
pressured by money, power, prestige,
Mm-hmm.
um, you're still a victim. They say that person could have left multiple times, but then they wanted the fame. That when you
So are they a victim
have
at
you
that point
ever
if they know?
have you ever ran away from a billionaire?
I don't know if I even met a billionaire. To be honest with you, I don't know.
But you know their
But what I'm
reach
saying
and their
is
influence is
the
far.
the the
It's,
first the
I'm saying
first
it's
few
not that
people.
easy.
No, what I'm saying is the people that didn't know, with the first few people he started it on, like say the first 20 people, okay. But the next 70 people, if
No,
you hearing
it don't
about
work
this,
like that.
because stuff is out in the streets. You
I
hear
mean,
this stuff,
but
you know,
it just
dudes.
don't work like that.
Oh,
Well, like,
so
what about the
when
people? What about the
they
people?
say what?
Hey, you consent. Hey, I want to do this for X amount of money, and then you go to the hotel room, and then you get scared, and you change your mind. Is that person a victim?
I think what's the laws in that state?
I mean, it's just
Because that line get very fuzzy, man. That
no. I
victim
mean, it's
line get
not. I
very
mean, that
fuzzy.
person
But you
has the
made a
right to
deal. But you
leave.
made a deal though, right?
If
It's a
they
contractual agreement.
it's just what so they just because they made a deal, they're held to that. They got to do things that they don't consent to anymore because
Why
they
did you
made a
sign the
deal.
contract?
Now, guess what?
That could be fought in court. Why'd you sign the contract?
That's illegal too. But
What's that?
if
What's
they
that?
keep if they don't get the money and they decide to leave, and Diddy had a no cancellation clause, in there, they're still a victim. You know what I mean, in these situations. But I'm gonna answer your question about 40 years living. But exercise, take care of yourself, right? Just to
Back
do little
to
things,
life, back to reality.
take
But
vitamins
yeah,
and
health.
stuff like that. Your physical health,
Another things,
and
yeah.
then the
Listen to your
second one is
body.
like your spiritual health. Get in line with God. Um,
That's a good point too. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because you're like, well, I'm not religious, but you're getting married. You're probably getting married in the church. You're probably gonna say some vows. Even at the
Hmm.
courthouse, they're gonna speak spiritually on your union. So
Hmm.
this is my opinion. Optional.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's optional, it's optional.
Mm.
Spiritually, get yourself together. Look what your not finances look like by your story. Look like what your finances look like by yourself.
Mm.
Um, Figure out what you want to do, what your goals are as a person. You know what I mean? Spiritually, mentally. If you got some things, anger management problems, alcohol problems, try to get that sorted out.
Boy, for
If you
real.
can, that's mental.
You got to
Um,
admit though. That's the thing, right? You got to
I
admit
mean, yeah,
that you have
yeah,
a
yeah.
problem.
You're
Yeah.
not ready if we're in the graduating stages. If you're not ready to even admit you have a problem, you definitely don't need to be in this conversation talking about bringing somebody else in your life.
Boy.
Being a independent, self-sufficient, especially as a man, self-sufficient person already going into that, knowing what you want to be clearly, where you're going, having a vision for yourself, and then adding that person to that, making sure
Mm.
they add to and don't disrupt what you're trying to do. And
Hmm.
I know a man's supposed to be a provider, and I think the woman, before y'all get together, she should be independent on herself, not living off other people, and being,
Mm.
she's just gonna live off you, or whatever. Get another independent individual, and then y'all can kind of come together, and she can be under your covering. And if women be saying it's like hard to find a man as a provider, if he don't have a house and he's trying to move in with you, what you think this gonna be? I mean,
Mm.
it's right there in front of you, like what it's gonna be. He's gonna move in with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe give you $200 on the light bill, and you like him because he's fun. And marry the fun guy. That's fine, but don't expect him to be a provider. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? If he has a now, if you meet him, y'all start dating, he has a place for himself, and then he
Yeah.
makes a space for you in that place. That's easy. You know what I
Right.
mean? That man ain't gonna let me down because he ain't gonna let himself down. For
Right.
me to be homeless with this man, he have to be homeless, and he's never
Right.
been homeless. The 10 years or the 20 years before he met me, he been taking
Hmm.
care of himself. You don't have to see his credit score to know he's reliable. Well, how long you been
Right.
living here? You've been living here for 5 years, and the rent is $2,000 a month, and you've been doing this, and your card is this. You've been doing. You didn't even have to ask him what his credit score was. You don't
Right.
have to. You don't have to ask him if he's going to work. If the evidence is all around him. But if
Mm.
he bum and rise from you, you gotta your first date, you pick him up, and then the second week you're giving him rides to work and things like that. At least he got a job. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking fellas without a job, because
Yeah.
we all one layoff away
Boy, for real.
from that. But just those little things before you kind of go into marriage. Find
Yeah.
yourself, take care of yourself physically first, then spiritually, because how can you take care of yourself spiritually if you're not here? You know what I mean? So you
Right.
gotta be living to have a spiritual relationship.
Right.
And know what you want out of life, and don't expect that person to fulfill you. Like
Right.
I'm miserable. I need a wife. You know what I mean? She's
Yeah.
gonna give me purpose and this and
Yeah. I
that.
think
You know what I
Keon
mean?
Henderson told Cam Newton that like another person won't make you happy. Happiness is individual. It's an individual inside of you. You have to manage your own happiness. He was pretty much saying that because if you marry a woman thinking she gonna make you happy, it's not gonna work like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
She can do
so
certain things to enhance my happiness. I like looking
for
at her
sure.
every morning. I smile when she talks and things like
Yeah.
that, and I get the butterflies in my stomach. And she cooks really good, and she looks really good, and those things enhance your happiness, enhance your life. But if you're miserable and you know what I mean, you think this person's gonna just make you happy. That's an impossible task. If you're a man trying to make a woman happy that's not happy, that's
Yeah.
mission impossible because she's gonna be unhappy about another thing tomorrow. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
that's
give
the
her
thing, Dylan.
all this
Dylan.
money and she will be
Yeah.
happy then. I'm gonna do thoughtful things. I'm gonna take her on vacation. Well, while she's on vacation, she's gonna be happy, or she's not gonna show signs or symptoms of
Mhm.
unhappiness. But then she go back to regular life. I hate my
Yeah.
job. I hate my
Yeah.
house. I hate my car. I hate my mom. I hate my kids. I hate my feet. When you hate your own body, how is she
Man.
gonna love you? I hate
Boy.
my feet. I hate my nose. You think I'm fat? You know what I mean? I'm ugly. My lips dry.
Mm-hmm.
How
That's
can
real
you
talk.
make that person happy? And guess what? That person's gonna leave you in 3 years. I'm just not happy. You wasn't happy when I met you, and that's my fault.
Right. Boy. Yep. And I would say communication, learn how to communicate with the opposite sex. Like, honestly, I think I struggled with that when I first got married, the communication piece. Just being able to tell your wife what you thinking. You know what I'm saying? If you're the leader of the
And
house,
what you want?
telling your wife how you solve problems, how you think. And sometimes you can't say it in 5 minutes. It's over time. When something come up, I'm gonna do this, and do this based on what I know. You know what I'm saying? Communication is key, man. As an individual, man, you have to learn how to manage your stress or manage your individual like anger, manage your frustration. You gotta learn how to manage those things before you get married. You gotta learn how to forgive because if you can't forgive, marriage is gonna challenge you all the way around the board. Learn how not to hold on to stuff. That's why I would tell kids. A lot of people, man, you see on social media, they be holding on to stuff, be holding grudges. It's like, man, that stuff happened 10 years ago, man. Come on now, man.
I can't remember a conflict that I had in high school.
Nah, me
I
either.
can't remember a conflict I had in my 20s. That
Yeah,
stuff
man.
is
Some people still
gone.
do. It's crazy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I was I was having a conversation just about matter of fact 2 hours ago, and we was talking about like people holding on to stuff. Like I think it was like with Cardi B trying to get even tit for tat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
It never goes well.
and I was like, I never like I've been hurt and I've been in
Sure.
fights, physical, emotional, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But guess what? I don't remember. I can't even think of that thing that had me heartbroken and depressed when I was 28.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't even recall it. You know what I mean? A lot of unless I'm just really good at suppressing things.
Right.
But we'll talk about the tip for
I
tat
think
after.
the difference between suppressing and just letting stuff go because it ain't worth holding on to. I don't know. I think it's a difference, but some
Yeah.
people don't. But it just
But you were
depends on your
saying about
perspective.
communication. I haven't ever really touched on this. Expectations,
Yes.
unmet
Yes.
expectations that you didn't even express. Your wife
Yeah.
is not doing the thing you want, but you didn't tell her to do it. You didn't tell her how important it was to you that you received this. So I think you need to, everybody, even if you're married now, practice in the mirror.
Yeah.
Whatever your dreams, goals, fantasies, or
Yeah.
responsibilities, say them out loud. Say them to God. Say them to yourself in the mirror. I want this from you, my wife, or my husband. I really would like you to do this, and at least they will know. You got to learn how to communicate your inner thoughts and your inner feelings because they're in you. They can't see
And see,
them.
the thing that's tough about life is
And
how
then when they
many.
don't do them, that's them.
Yeah. How many people have you met, or how many women did you meet? You could be like really straight up with them and tell them right out what you want. A lot of times it just don't happen like that. You got to figure out. It's almost like playing with a Rubik's cube. You know what I'm saying?
So
Every time you move one and then another color, you just never could get all the colors in
So
one
that's
place.
an excellent point and a counter to that. So that's
Yeah.
what you need to learn
Yes.
to
Yes.
express yourself in a way they can hear you.
Without
And
getting
you
offended.
do
You
that
know what I'm
without
saying? Yeah.
them, like Mike has been my best friend for a long time. Maybe he's a little bit too blunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Learning how to soften that up without losing your point. Sometimes we have so much appetizers and we give them so much stuff warming them up to say what we're going to say. They don't even have room for the main course of truth that we're trying to tell them because you're buttering up with these little appetizer subjects.
But when you direct, you don't give them the appetizer. When you direct, you just give them
Yeah,
the steak.
you just forcing you just forcing a steak down our throat. Like you only have this and that, and they sometimes take that wrong, and then that hurts our even as a man that doesn't have feelings, that hurts your feelings because she didn't even listen to what you said. She was worried about how you said it, but that's something that was really important to you.
When I think about when I was younger, I think there were a lot of them that listened. They just didn't want to admit it or they didn't want to say it because if I say something and then you admit it, now you have to be accountable from that point on. Some people don't want to admit because then they have to be accountable at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if I tell, you know what I'm saying? That happens a lot. You got to be able to realize that as a man, like this person know what I'm saying. They know what I'm asking them. And I'm not saying it to be offensive, but they know if they say, yes, I understand what you're saying. Now, moving forward, how are we going to solve this now? Now that we on the same page, the accountability. Or are you going to be one of them people that move the goalposts? Some people, they move the goalposts all the time. Right.
And sometimes that's just not one conversation.
No,
you have the trial period. Hey, we're enacting. We're going to be using this new policy from now on out.
Right.
Now she knows and she's accountable for this in the future. The first weeks you're going to have bumps. Like she's going to kind of go outside of those lines. Not your wife or whatever. The person you're talking to.
I know you're saying. Yeah,
they're going to go outside of the line. And then we're going to say, oh, no, that's not what I mean. You get them straight. It's just like learning any new skill at a job. You're going to kind of mess up the first couple times. You got to give people grace because this is something you knew you put on them. But then after a month, you know what I mean? They're going to get it right. And then after that month or 6, 8 months, and they're still doing stuff, they just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Once they learn.
Exactly.
And that's what you got to be accountable of too. But the hardest part for men is to express that need to a woman. And it's women too. Your husband maybe would help you with the dishes or these things because we're getting a lot of talk about. A lot of people are getting divorced over household chores.
Boy,
because I don't want to clean up. You don't want to clean up. Nobody wants to clean up. And then you want a provider. He provides 100% of the income.
Boy.
But you still want him to do 50% or 75% of the housework. He's doing 100% of the income. I'm not going to say what's fair and what's not because you run your own house. But I think, just everybody, should think about themselves. But let your expectations be known. Hey, that's making me feel not valued when you don't pick up after yourself or this or that. That's with chores, that's sexual, that's spiritual needs. I really want you to pray with me like this. I really, you got to be able to say what you want and not be mad you're not getting something that you didn't express.
And I'll say this before we go to the next slide. I will tell anybody, man or woman, when you marry somebody, you have to think about this person. You got to know what your flaws are. This person going to see your good and your bad. If you constantly complain about another person, think about what that person could complain about you that they probably don't say. You got to think about that. If you want to make a complaint, that other person could make a complaint just as easy. So that's why it pays not to just sit there and be complaining, because if you're going to complain, what's the solution? You know what I'm saying? What's some people just like complaining, but they never have a solution. They just like complaining, you know what I'm saying?
I ran into a person, they had something to say about every solution I had and didn't have one.
Really? Wow.
I don't like what's going on. I said, well, what about we do this? We assign this and that. I don't like assignments. Well, what do you suggest? Well, I don't know. Well, just every man for themselves, but I want help. If it's every man for themselves,
yeah, exactly.
Why you need help? So do I get help from him? No, well, you can. Didn't have a thing, and then it's like, okay, And I hear a lot of men do this. Well, you don't clean up after yourself. Then you look at the dresser. It's makeup. It's hair
Man.
everywhere. I don't wear synthetic hair. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, this is my space. I use this every day. You know what I mean? Well,
Double standards all the time.
well, I know.
Yeah, guys.